Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. The 49ers did it. They pulled off a win against the Chicago Bears, 38 to 13. One of the most lopsided first halves I've seen in a really long time. But before we get to that, I spoke to Isaac Guerendo in the locker room. He's very optimistic that he'll be able to play on Thursday. He said taking him out of the game was precautionary. They just want to be careful. But just be forewarned, a lot of times players feel good, and then after they sleep the next day, it might not feel as good. So he is positive, he's upbeat, thinking that he's going to play on Thursday, but potentially, you never know. Ben Barch, though, high ankle sprain, Kyle Shanahan told me, and that does not look good for him. So Aaron Banks still in the concussion protocol. Spencer Burford was in there for him. Jalen Moore at left tackle has done a commendable job. It could be that Thursday is the reunion of a lot of the starters. It could be Nick Bosa's back, Trent Williams potentially, maybe Aaron Banks. So there could be a lot of guys making their return on Thursday. One in particular, Dre Greenlaw. The defense played lights out in the first half. I mean, the first half, the Chicago Bears had 4 yards, four total yards. Unreal. I can't believe how lopsided the halftime stats were. I'm gonna pull those up for you. Uh, San Francisco, the 49ers had 14 first downs. Chicago had one. Uh, San Francisco was 4 of 7 on third downs. They had 319 yards. Again, the Chicago Bears had four. The 49ers were running 8.6 yards per play, 65 yards on the ground, 254 yards in the air. They possessed the ball for 20 full minutes in the first half. Things kind of evened out kind of in the second half. The Bears came out and had that 16 play drive, took more of the time of possession, more yards, but still they were not able to catch up to the 49ers, who had 38 points at the end of it all. Isaac Rendo, what a great start for him. First NFL start, only the second official start in his college and NFL career. 15 carries for 78 yards. And then also, he was a receiver for all the time from fifth grade until college. He was a wide receiver. So the fact that he can catch footballs and run routes, I think that is going to bode really well for his production with the 49ers because, like Christian McCaffrey, I'm not comparing him, but like Christian McCaffrey, if he can do both, the more you can do, the more he'll be utilized in the offense. So I think it's better now at week 14. He's learned how to blitz pickup. He's learned the kind of ins and outs of the 49ers offense. And I think he's only going to get better. Hopefully his foot is healthy enough for him to return. Also, a lot of great play from the defense. Yetur Gross-Matos, a hat trick, 3 sacks. This is where I thought he would be when I saw him in training camp. He was a guy who popped off the film. Like when I watched like videos I took of the defensive line, he stood out. His get off and like finally he's healthy, and to see him out there is fantastic. Leonard Floyd, 2 sacks. Malik Collins, 1 sack. Now, I gotta say, the Chicago Bears offensive line is not good. They have allowed 49 sacks up until today, and they allowed another 6. So now they're at 55 sacks for the year. Not great. Um, Another interesting tidbit from the game was watching Malik Mustafa and Talanoa Hufanga start at safety. I asked Talanoa Hufanga how was it to be out there with Malik because last year he was out there with Jair Brown. Now Jair Brown hasn't had the best season so far, and maybe kind of a little sophomore slump situation. But Talanoa Hufanga said Malik Mustafa's instincts are spot on. He's a hard hitter. He knows like the angles. He knows how to get out and get after guys. He said he really enjoyed playing with him. Now, he didn't play any games with him yet, but he'd been out there with practice time. And so they've been kind of learning each other and figuring out how to play well with each other. And no steps back versus the Bears. They played really well. Again, the Bears team is not great, but the fact that you saw it was a choice by Nick Sorensen to put Malik Mustafa out there with Talanoa Hufanga, and I think they both played really well. But really exciting to see Thursday, Dre Greenlaw could return to the lineup. The 49ers had Fred Warner out there with D. Winters a little bit more than Devondre Campbell today. I'm interested to see what we see when we get the snap counts tomorrow. They come out a little bit later, or maybe later tonight. But interesting that D. Winters was out there. I think he should have caught that ball that went through his hands for an interception. But I mean, got some really good ball instincts. I've liked what I've seen from him, and obviously the 49ers have two because he's been out there with Fred Warner. Great game from Brock Purdy, 20 of 25, 325 yards, two touchdowns, 145 rating. Pretty crazy. And then the star of the show on the offense, George Kittle, six catches for 151 yards. He is just a beast out there. He is having an incredible season. He is the third NFL tight end to have over 500 catches and over 7,000 yards. I mean, fifth round pick, George Kittle. Just a joy to cover as he plays on this team. Fun to talk to in the locker room. I always get to have a little extra chat with him. We talked about insoles today for foot issues. So yeah, that's a fun thing that happens in the locker room. I'm like, how do you get your feet to feel better? Um, so much happier locker room. Jauan Jennings spoke. This is a game. Jauan Jennings had seven catches for 90 yards, two touchdowns, and every game that he's had a breakout performance, the 49ers have lost this year. So finally, he spoke at his locker room, and we asked him, "Are you so happy that you had a great performance and you guys won the game?" He's like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy that we finally won a game that I had a great game in." So, Jauan Jennings kind of let the secret out of the bag a little bit that there were some captains that spoke up in the team meeting last night before this Bears game. Yes, of course, George Kittle spoke. Yes, of course, Brock Purdy spoke. Yes, Brock Purdy, but he's not a guy that normally gets up in front of the entire team and speaks. I know he speaks to his guys in the offense. But the one that really surprised me is Deommodore Lenoir. Now he's become more vocal. He's become, a guy who has a huge contract, so he is going to be a spokesman for the team. He is one of the core guys now. Deommodore Lenoir has become a core member of this 49ers team. He got up and spoke in front of the team, and I always think that when it's someone who doesn't speak very often that finally does it. I think this is what, Nick Bosa, when he first started speaking in front of the team, he didn't do it before. But when he first did it, guys, I think, are taken aback and you know, there are guys that talk frequently. When a guy who doesn't talk very often gets up and speaks from the heart, I think it means a lot to the team. And it obviously, they rallied. I'm not saying that Deommodore Lenoir is the reason that they won the game today, but when you have those feelings throughout a locker room, I think it makes a difference. So 49ers now need to come back short week to face the Los Angeles Rams to get another one in the NFC and another one in the NFC West. So more talk from Kyle Shanahan tomorrow at a conference call at some point. Um, but yeah, I'll have more updates soon. And they'll have practice on Tuesday. That probably will be the only availability for the 49ers. Wednesday will be off, and then game on Thursday. So that's what's happening this week. I will keep you guys updated. Please subscribe. Please like. Please tell your friends that I'm doing this. A lot of people have said, "Oh, I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel." So please spread the word. Also, watch the podcast, listen to the podcast, NBC Sports Bay Area. I also did a feature on George Kittle and what he does for Salute to Service. He is the 49ers nominee for Salute to Service for the fourth time in his 8-year NFL career. He also did My Cause, My Cleats with Operation Surf, which is a program that takes veterans out and for their mental health, brings them together for camaraderie, and teaches them how to surf just for mental health. So definitely check that out on the website on NBC Sports Bay Area. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to hear, what stories you'd like me to find out for you this week in the locker room and going forward. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon.